If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made in this week. Now, as usual, I'll give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made in first, followed by a movie clip, a skit, a trailer, or something that's going on in the community. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made in this week. So let's waste no time. Let's get to it. Story number 1. If high schoolers can play football, why can't college athletes? Young men have already taken to the football field locally, and some have even caught the virus, leaving their mark in history as big-name college conferences watch at home. While attorneys fight to get players in college on the field, young local athletes are making history. But what got this story in is the bravery and heart of the younger generation. Football for many across the world is not only a sport, but it's a providing force for almost everyone with a dream along with other athletic programs. In the age of political correctness and everyone searching for a good story to tell, it's always good to see the generations to come keeping small dreams that we all once had alive. The key question in this story is, will these dreams save American sports? Story number 2, local barbershop school giveaway. Beyond expectations, Barber College opened up the barber chairs with a free haircut for young men starting their school year. Most likely, this was a huge sacrifice for the local barbershop, but an investment into the next generation, especially in tough times. It was well received. I'm sure it was. This story made it in because it shows how local businesses and the local business community continues to go above and beyond the call of duty, even in rough times like these fighting COVID-19. Story number 3, COVID-19 what? Some local residents are treating themselves in the COVID-19 question. COVID-19 who? COVID-19 what? Hot tea with cough drops, sinus medicine, and maybe even a few cups of orange juice. Some local residents have found their own treatment to COVID-19 right at the grocery store. This seems to be the new solution to a problem that the state deemed a public health emergency worth sacrificing millions of jobs and local businesses. If this story stays alive, defenseless people will not only be at the voting polls, but they might even be at the on the State House lawn demanding answers. Story number 4, the eviction stories are evolving. The landlords are getting frustrated, putting people out on the street, staying in the house, can't pay the bills. Landlords have been front and center explaining their reasons for investing in local properties, but the top concern is the fact that everyone needs somewhere to stay. Another chapter in this COVID-19 book here locally is the battle to pay the bills. One Vindicator article looks into the history of ethnic struggles here locally, and it let it be known that Youngstown and Warren are in the top 10 when it comes to eviction rates in Ohio. The article's main focus is on minority groups, but also stresses a systematic disadvantage that leaves the landlord caught up in the middle. Deep inside of this story lies only one solution, which is money and a good job. That's the only thing that can possibly pay the bills. But how can you pay rent without either one? Story number 5. Gun violence is still a major problem for the city. The feds went all out this Labor Day weekend looking for guns because some people keep using them to shoot other people for their own tainted reason. Who knows? Could be revenge, could be some song that made somebody snap, but people keep killing each other. No matter what race, creed, or color, the city of Youngstown is still at the same rate of homicides that it was last year. Inner cities all over the United States are doing everything they can to stop people from killing other people, and that includes local cities. Police are also investigating a shooting on the east side and the south side all in the same week. It remains a fact that people with guns are a huge problem for lawmakers to tackle, because if people keep killing people with guns, it's just a matter of time before those wanting solutions take matters into their own hands. Story number 6. State may back off from GM. The state. GM could get a get out of jail free card. With GM in the ballpark, some state officials see this as an opportunity and to negotiate some key deals here locally. That means GM may have an offer and the state may have an offer also, so they may go to the table. At first, it was reported that GM ran off with a bailout from taxpayers in the range of about $60 million. But now that GM looks to be eyeing the electric vehicle market here locally, using local resources and workers, state officials may be licking their chops at a new deal here locally. So keep an eye on story number 6. That's why I made it this week. This story is still developing, as GM has been setting up shop in Lordstown for a battery cell plant, and a lot of lawmakers are licking their chops because there was some taxpayer money that was in this deal. Story number 7 in the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. The Youngstown business Incubator and 3D printing may be paving the way for the future. 3D printing could be the future, and every business needs a place to thrive. Colin Boring, the founder of a 3D printing company, not only shines light on the business incubator, but also shines light on the future of 3D printing. 3D printing stories have been in national headlines, and business incubators have helped a lot of startup companies. The fact that each is impacting the local market is what bumped this story up into the top 2 this week. Each has gained the attention of the global market and has been making a big impact in the local business community. Story number 8 in the top local headline and developing news story that made it in this week. Ooh, yeah. What changes do people want here locally? Big question. Some want a political change from Democrat to Republican. Some want good jobs and better schools. But with the lenient sentencing of David Buzanich and Dominic Marcianda, some just want justice. The list goes on, but the judge is the one who makes the decision. With so many circulating stories here locally, it might be easy to forget that there is still plenty of room to expand and impact the local economy with skills and talent, instead of just always focusing on the bad apples. Now, what got the story at the top is the fact that the Mahoning County alone has plenty of real estate and spaces that need to be filled by anyone looking to start a new business. There are landlords that need good tenants, classrooms that need good teachers, colleges that need good students, business owners, along with religious organizations that are always looking for volunteers. Now, in all of that, there's still hope here locally, even in the fight to defeat COVID-19. Like I said, but if there is hope, if hope is not enough, then you can always vote, and that may be one of your only options that you have left, is voting. If you don't have hope in that, you may just be able to either vote yourself in, vote somebody else in, and make a difference inside of story number 8. The big question is that what changes do people want here locally, and what are they willing to do to impact the community and make those changes? I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. Well, those are our top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. I'll be right back. Going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back with the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made it in.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
If you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. And go to the website. It's METHOD, the number 8, INC.com. Method8inc.com where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program.